sounds like a wild sci-fi headline, but in Russia, scientists are literally hijacking pigeons' brains, turning them into living, breathing surveillance drones. This isn't a movie plot or a conspiracy theory. It's literally happening. We're going to get into how these biodrones work, what they're looking for, and what it means for the future when nature itself becomes a spy. So today we're going to get into one of the most mind-bending developments in surveillance, Russia's brain-chip bird drones. This story involves a company called Neiry, a flock of pigeons in Moscow that have had surgery, and tech that hooks an animal's brain right up to a computer. It's a wild revelation that makes you ask, how far will we go in blurring the line between the natural world and a weaponized one? So let's start with who and what. The company behind this is a Russian neurotech firm called Neiry. In late 2025, they announced they had successfully run flight tests in Moscow with pigeons they've turned into biodrones. And we're not just talking about birds with tiny cameras strapped on. These are pigeons with neural interfaces, microchips, implanted directly into their brains. Think Neuralink, but on pigeons. According to company statements and reports, the first block has already done test flights, taking off from a lab, flying a set route, and coming back. The setup involves a small solar-powered backpack on a pigeon. This pack holds a camera, a GPS unit, and the control model that talks to the chip in the bird's brain. From a distance, it looks like a normal pigeon. Up close, it's a piece of living surveillance hardware. And Neiry has made it clear that this is just a start. They are already testing the flight patterns of dozens of these birds and plan to send some on long-distance missions. So how does it actually work? This is where it gets interesting. The whole thing relies on electrodes put into specific parts of the pigeon's brain. They use a special precision-guided system for the surgery to place the electrodes correctly without needing expensive scans like a CT or MRI. This makes the whole process faster. While the company says they're aiming for a 100% survival rate for the birds, they haven't shared what the actual survival rates are right now. Once the chip is in, operators don't need to train the pigeons at all. Neiry claims any animal is controllable right after the operation. Instead of giving the bird commands, the system sends a little electrical impulses to the brain. These pulses basically influence the bird's motivation, making it want to turn left or right or to fly a certain GPS controller. It's not like flying a toy drone. It's more like outsourced navigation, wired straight into the animal's brain. The bird thinks it's making its own choices, but an operator miles away is actually calling the shots. The whole system runs on solar panels on the backpack, giving these biodrones a huge advantage in endurance and range over normal battery-powered drones. Okay, but what's the point of it? Neiry has been pretty open about its intended civilian uses. They say the biodrones are for monitoring things like power lines and gas distribution hubs. They also mention environmental surveys, industrial inspections, and even search and rescue missions. The company argues that a biodrone can fly way further and longer than a mechanical drone, and that if one crashes, it's just a bird falling, making them safer for cities. They've also tried to address privacy concerns. Neiry says that cameras on board use AI to automatically blur faces and personal data to follow local laws. But this is where it gets tricky. You can't ignore the massive potential for military and spying applications. While Neiry is talking about industrial monitoring, the technology itself is a spy dreams come true. Imagine a flock of pigeons looking just like 1,000 in any city square, but each one has a controllable camera or listening device. This tech offers a kind of stealth that mechanical drones just can't match. Pigeons are everywhere. People can't ignore them. They can land on a windowsill, hang out in the park, or fly over a secure building without anyone batting an eye. That makes them the perfect tool for secret surveillance. Using animals for spying isn't a new idea, and it's worth putting this Russian project into historical context. During the Cold War, the CIA and other agencies experimented with all sorts of animal operatives, like using dolphins for underwater missions. You may have heard of a CIA project from the 1960s called Acoustic Kitty. The popular story is that they surgically implanted microphones into a cat to spy on Soviet officials. While a project with this name did exist, declassified documents show it was actually a plan to use a surgically altered cat as a listening device. The first and only field test was a famous failure. Some accounts say that the cat was immediately hit by a taxi, though others dispute this and say that the project was just abandoned because cats are too hard to train. Russia also has a long history of training marine animals, like a beluga whale, and dolphins to guard their naval bases. But what makes Neiry's bird drones a huge leap forward is that you don't have to train the animal anymore. With brain chips, you get control on demand. That jump from training to direct brain control is what makes this tech so powerful, and for a lot of people, so scary. So what does a world with brain-chipped animal spies actually look like? The ethical and privacy issues are massive. For years, the birds aren't real movement has been a joke, a satirical conspiracy theory that all birds are government drones. This project pretty much turns that joke into a chilling reality. How can you ever be sure that the pigeon on your balcony isn't recording you? This technology completely blurs the line between nature and surveillance gear. It turns the natural world into a potential spy zone without anyone even knowing. And while Neiry says their system will blur faces, that's just a software feature. In the hands of an intelligence agency, that feature could be turned off with a click. And it's not just about pigeons. Neiry's founder, Alexander Panov, has been clear that almost any bird could be a carrier. He's mentioned plans to use ravens for heavier equipment, seagulls for watching coastlines, and even albatrosses for missions over the ocean. This isn't just about spy pigeons, it's about building a scalable biosurveillance platform with different animals, each picked for what it can do naturally. We're on the edge of something new and unsettling. The tech to merge animal biology with robotics is here, and it's being tested on the streets of Moscow. It promises to be great for industry, but it also opens the door for spying and social control on a level we've never seen before. It forces us to look at the animals around us and wonder, what do you think? Is this a brilliant innovation, or is this a terrifying step towards a total surveillance state? Where do we draw the line? The development of these biodrones is a sharp reminder that technology is moving faster than our ability to regulate it. The next time you see a pigeon, you might just have to wonder. Let me know what you think in the comments.